You've felt it before. That subtle shift in the air when you walk into a room. No one says anything. No one directly criticizes you. But somehow, you know something is off. It's in the way they look at you for just a second too long, then quickly look away. It's in the silence that feels heavier than words. It's in the smile that looks friendly, but doesn't feel genuine. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people ignore. Not everyone who acts normal around you is neutral about you. Some people are constantly analyzing you, measuring you, judging you quietly. Not out loud, not directly, but through micro behaviors your brain picks up, even when you can't explain it. And the most dangerous part? Because it's subtle. You start questioning yourself instead of questioning them. You wonder, am I overthinking? Did I imagine that? Maybe it's just me. But it's not just you. Human behavior leaks truth, no matter how hard someone tries to hide it. And once you learn to recognize these hidden signals, you'll never see people the same way again. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 7 silent signs that reveal when someone is secretly judging you, even when they pretend everything is perfectly fine. Before we go deeper, I want to be clear, everything discussed on this channel is strictly for educational purposes. Understanding dark psychology is about building awareness, not weaponizing it. If you or someone you know is in a harmful situation, please seek support from a licensed professional. This is a space for growth, clarity, and protection, nothing else. Judgment is rarely loud. In fact, the most powerful forms of judgment are almost always silent. When someone judges you openly, it's obvious. You can respond, you can defend yourself. But when it's hidden beneath polite behavior, it becomes psychological. You're left reading between the lines, trying to decode expressions, feeling something, but not having proof. This is what makes silent judgment so impactful. It operates beneath awareness. Imagine this. You're talking to someone, sharing an idea you're excited about. They nod, they smile, they say that's interesting, but something feels off. Their eyes narrow slightly, their response is delayed. Their tone is flat. They didn't criticize you, but you walk away feeling smaller. That's not random. Your brain is detecting microsignals, tiny inconsistencies between what's being said and what's actually being felt. And when you don't understand these signals, you start internalizing them. You begin to doubt yourself instead of recognizing the behavior. That's why understanding these signs matters. Not so you become paranoid, but so you become aware. Because once you see the pattern, you stop absorbing other people's silent judgments and start protecting your confidence from them. Layer 1. The mismatch between words and body language. The first and most revealing sign is inconsistency. When someone is secretly judging you, their words and their body don't align. They might say something positive, but their body tells a completely different story. You'll notice things like a forced smile that disappears too quickly, a slight eye roll they think you didn't catch, crossed arms or leaning away while pretending to be engaged. Here's a real-world example. You share an achievement with someone. They say, "Wow, that's great," but their tone is flat. Their eye contact breaks, and their posture closes off. On the surface, it's support. Underneath, it's resistance. Why this matters? Most people listen to words, but truth lives in behavior. When you learn to spot these mismatches, you stop taking surface-level reactions at face value and start understanding what people actually feel. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Layer 2, subtle micro-expressions they can't fully control. Even when people try to hide judgment, their face betrays them, briefly. These are called micro-expressions, tiny, involuntary reactions that flash for a fraction of a second. You might notice a quick smirk, a momentary look of disgust, a raised eyebrow that disappears instantly. These expressions are so fast, most people miss them, but your subconscious doesn't. That's why you sometimes feel judged, without knowing why. Example, you're speaking confidently, and for a split second, they show a look of disbelief or amusement before returning to a neutral face. That tiny moment reveals their true perception. Why this matters? Because judgment isn't always spoken, but it's almost always felt. Recognizing these micro-reactions helps you separate what's real from what's being performed. Most people stop here, but you need to understand the next layer. Layer 3, passive behavioral shifts around you. This is the deepest layer and the hardest to detect. When someone is secretly judging you, their behavior around you changes over time. Not dramatically, but subtly. They may interrupt you more often, avoid giving you full attention, respond with shorter, less engaged replies, or subtly exclude you from conversations. Example, in a group setting, they engage fully with others, but when you speak, their attention drops. They check their phone, they respond with yeah or okay. They don't build on what you say. It's not direct disrespect, but it's not neutral either. It's quiet devaluation. Why this matters? Because consistent behavioral patterns reveal long-term judgment, not just momentary reactions. And if you ignore these patterns, you slowly start adjusting yourself to fit their perception. Without realizing it, you begin shrinking. Here's the truth most people never realize. Not all judgment is about you. In fact, most of it isn't. When someone silently judges you, it often says more about their internal state than your external behavior. People judge what triggers them, what they don't understand, what challenges their identity. Confidence makes insecure people uncomfortable. Authenticity exposes people who are pretending. Growth threatens those who feel stuck. So instead of expressing that discomfort honestly, they convert it into silent judgment. And here's the twist. The more you try to fix yourself to avoid being judged, the more you lose the very traits that made you powerful in the first place. You start editing your personality, filtering your thoughts, holding back your presence, all to satisfy opinions that were never clearly expressed and never truly about you. The real danger isn't being judged. It's absorbing that judgment without questioning it. Because once you internalize it, you start limiting yourself without anyone needing to say a word. So how do you protect yourself from silent judgment without becoming defensive or paranoid? First, trust patterns, not moments. Anyone can have an off reaction once, but repeated behavior reveals intention. Focus on consistent signals over time, not isolated incidents. Second, separate feeling from fact. Just because you feel judged doesn't always mean you are. Pause and observe. Ask yourself, what behavior am I actually noticing? This keeps you grounded in reality instead of assumption. Third, maintain your baseline confidence. Don't adjust your personality to match someone else's silent opinion. If your behavior is aligned with your values, that's your anchor. Confidence protects you from absorbing unnecessary judgment. Fourth, control your exposure. If someone consistently shows subtle negative patterns, limit how much influence they have over you. You don't need confrontation, just distance. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Think about the last time you felt uncomfortable around someone, even though they didn't say anything negative. Now ask yourself, which of these patterns did you notice but ignore? Because awareness doesn't start with others. It starts with what you've already been sensing. Silent judgment is powerful, not because it's loud, but because it's hidden. When you recognize the patterns, you stop internalizing what was never yours to carry. And when you stop absorbing it, you start moving with clarity and confidence again. In our next video, we're going to expose a behavior pattern that looks like care on the surface, but slowly drains your emotional control without you realizing it. If this gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs to hear it.